Welcome. In this video, we're going to do a solo playthrough of Machina Arcana 3rd edition. So I've already done a video on how to do the setup and the basics of how to play. Since this game can go for several hours, there is a variant for a shorter game, so we're going to do that. So we're going to play with Scenario 1 using only chapters 1, 2, and 4, but that's going to give enough for you to see if this is something you might like without going too much into spoilers of the game. So I'm going into Horror in the Ice, and we're going to keep the ones 1, 2, and 4. The rest we can get rid of. So starting into this chapter, we'll flip this off. So that's going to give us some art of what we're walking into. Then on this sheet, it's going to let us know our spawning's at 7 and our horror is at 4. So we've already got those labeled there, along with this level 1 for monsters and that on the far left for the track. Then our flavor text for the entrance. As we stepped into the dark, an uncanny gust of wind followed us in and continued on down through the wide and spacious halls, echoing incessantly. Our eyes, still blinking from the polar glare, adapted at last, and we could finally make out our surroundings. There was a scant light, yet enough for us to discover ancient and complex corridors, halls, and rooms built by unknown hands eons ago. What craft erected these delicate walls and exquisite pillars that rose above the precisely detailed flooring of stone slabs beneath our feet? The whole space seemed to pulsate with a strange rhythm, faint and indistinct. As we embarked on our exploration of the subterranean ruins, the feeling of disquiet only continued to grow. The further we ventured in, the more it appeared that in some bizarre way the place itself became aware of our presence, and we seemed to be alone no longer. So when this enters play, we're going to place our entry token. And in our setup video, this is the tile that came in. So this symbol here lets us know where our entry token is. Got a recharge station here, 2 spawn points. We've got our chapter space here where we need to go advance to the next chapter. We've got some chests we can explore, some event areas, another chest, and then 2 workbenches. And doors here, or rooms with doors entering there. A lever to activate the traps at all these great spaces, including that spot. And when we place our token, we can go on it or adjacent to it, so we're just going to go in front of that. So for the rest of our setup, we've got our level 1 monsters. Give them a shuffle. And then all our item decks, we have our level 1 cards in each of those. So we have our weapons here, along with our apparel cards, artifacts, and consumables. Then we'll go ahead and shuffle up our horror cards. And they're going to have our core cards along with our scenario-specific cards. And we'll do the same thing for our exploration or event cards. And the character I chose to use for this is Hank Horton. He's a bruiser. As that class, whenever we go searching for gear and we get a weapon, we can automatically equip that. His base attack is we can spend 2 stamina. For a melee attack, we're rolling a black die. We're going to reduce max stamina by 1 on the creature we're activating against and increase your weapon's melee attacks rolls by 1. Start with an armor of 3, will of 2, essence of 4, health of 6, and stamina of 6. And we've got our track set there. So with that, we're set to go. So we've got our player aid ready. So explorer phase, start of this phase, place all explorer markers back to their corresponding player boards. We've got those there. Reset each player's stamina to the maximum number indicated. Then we can act in any order until we get down to 0. So we really can't get anywhere good to start with. So what we're going to do is move 1, 2, move our stamina down. Then we're going to take the action here to close a door, spending 2 stamina to close the door, which is right there. And then move 1, 2, 3. Well, we close the door, so we've got 2 more movements. So we can move to that spot, and that's going to end our turn. So then we're going to go to our spawn phase. We roll 7 or higher, we get another monster. So we're trying to get less than that. And the horror phase is rolling a die, 4 and higher, bad things happen. So here's the D10 that decides your fate. Going on the spawn phase, we rolled a 9. So that's going to bring out a monster. That's going to be a moon beast. It's got an armor of 4, will of 3. It's only got 1 health and 5 stamina. Its attacks are spending 3 on a melee attack, rolling 2 black, which is the better dice, and then 2 white, the not as good dice. And it also has an ability, it can pull us 2 spaces towards it. This monster is adjacent to a wall. It's ethereal, which means we can't even target it. And there's lots of walls in this spot. Then we're going to roll for our horror event. And we got a 7, so that's going to trigger. Taking that threat track up 1. And Mending Slumber. Spent a few hours in the embrace of a fitful sleep. So we walked in here, immediately took a nap. Though we're not sure why we bothered, as it brought us no measure of respite. Our dreams, or nightmares rather, seemed linked together as one and lingered on the foul thing we'd previously encountered. Lay there, bleeding in the dark, with its labored breathing haunting us. Suddenly its eyes snapped open, and we knew that it had instead grown stronger. On start of a wounded monster's turn, it restores a health and loses 3 stamina. So we kind of want that going away, because we don't want monsters healing themselves forever. Then this thing's going to attack, and of course it came out on our closest spawn point, and from the way I read the rules, it ignores walls when we do nearest for this, but for movement, it does want to try to get to us. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the moon beast is going to pop out there. Then back to our turn. Oh yes, he's attacking. So moving 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and knocks at the door, and we're not going to answer. Then back to our turn, reset the 6. And whether he popped out there or here, doesn't matter where to move to. It takes 4 to knock down a door. So we're going to spend 3 to activate this chest. So when we activate a chest, we restore 1 essence. We draw the top 2 cards from any item decks. From those 2 cards, we choose one. We may either destroy or place it on top of the corresponding item deck. Keep the remaining card or give it to another adjacent explorer. You can immediately equip kept card as a main item based on our class. So as a bruiser, we get to keep or equip a weapon. Gunmen get apparels, mystics, artifacts, and crafters any type. Then we put a destroy token on top of the chest, because we're only going to find 1 thing in each chest. So that spot is destroyed. We gained an essence, and I need some big weapons to beat up these guys. So we're going to draw 2 weapon cards. Find a brass umbrella and a precision scope. So this is an augment. It's not going to help us. This, we spend 2 to attack with a black die. When you block ranged attacks, reduce the attack roll by 2, and that's going to help us with our will. So we're going to keep the brass umbrella and go ahead and equip that and discard that. Then we're going to do the same thing again to this other chest. So go ahead and destroy it. Gain an essence. Kind of want a good weapon. So we're going to go through 2 more cards. Got a heavy javelin. Attacking with 3 of the white dice. I think I like that. Also, we can spend 2 at a range of 2 to discard this. So we're basically throwing the javelin. Then we have a force alternator. Let's see, increase the armor and will by 1 or reduce. I think I want the javelin. And so all of our items, we can have equip 1 main from each category, except the weapons. We can actually have 2 of those. The caveat, if we have 2 main items, they can't be more than 2 hands on them. So we can have both of these in play at the same time. And that's going to end our turn. So go to monster spawn again. And that's a 7. That should be at 7. So it's going to get us another monster out. Byaku. Armor of 5, will of 2, 2 health, 4 stamina. And once you get adjacent to us to attack, when any monster is destroyed, this monster teleports to that monster's position. So he's going to come in up here. Then we'll roll for the horror. Got a 1, so that's just going to knock this down a spot. Now they're going to activate. It's going to take 4 and destroy this door. So move that out and put one of these tokens here so we know no more shutting the door. And then it's going to move 1 space closer. This guy has a movement of 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And back to our turn. I think we got some fighting to do. All right, we're going to spend 1 movement. Or will we? Let's see. Yeah, we will. 1 movement to move to there. Then we're going to attack with our heavy javelin. Costs us 2 stamina. To roll 3 white dice. And I'll bring this out. And we've got a 2. We need to hit a 4. So that's going to be a big miss. Well, actually, we've got a 2. It's a melee attack, so we're +1. And we can spend an essence to up our result. So we get to a 4, which is going to kill this monster. And when we kill a monster, we gain an essence. And when a monster is destroyed, this one teleports to its previous location. Then we're going to spend 2 more to attack this guy, needing a 5 on that. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, since it's a melee attack, so we did a damage to it. Then we're going to move 1 space. Move right there. That's going to end our turn. So we go to monster spawning. We got a 3, so this is going to go down to a 6. Then roll for the horror event. And it gets an 8, so that's going to reset and bring out something else to cover that ability up. Mending writes, across the skies he streamed as a river, time old lord, the planet shiver, digging deeper, quaking thunder, ancient sleeper torn asunder. Bones shattered, gripped with torment, his flesh faltered, his will bent, but I am here to soothe and nourish, give your minds what he might flourish. So we sing, all elements are mending, fathomless bliss we are now sending. So monsters don't lose health for a turn. That's not cool. So put that there as a reminder. I think that's going to be the next horror phase. So what he's going to do is move 1 space. They prefer to be orthogonally adjacent. So he's got 3 more left, but for 2, he's doing his attack of 3 black dice. And ended up with 4. So that's going to hit, and we're going to take a damage. All right, so back to our turn. We can't hurt that guy. So, 1 for movement, then 1, 2, 3. To activate an event space, restore an essence, draw the top card of the Explore event deck, resolve its interplay abilities. If it's a binding event, it's going to go next to our character board and then put a destroyed token on it. So we'll put that on there. Gain and the Captain's Horn. Before we disappeared through the forsaken entrance on our long, terrible journey, Captain Nelson, commander of our beloved airship, called me aside. He put something in my hand roughly and whispered, I reckon you'll be needing this here little contraption. It always served me and me boys well when fright soiled our pants. That's never a good thing. Hope it won't let you down, for I fear there's a lot of soiling ahead of ye. What a great motivational speech. And with that, he winked and walked off, laughing merrily. 1 smile as I remember it now. Explorers use their inventories. That's not going to help us. So what that allows us to do, it'd be great if we had more items. Unequip all your items, equip any number of main items, upgrades and augments, and give any number of items to adjacent explorers. we've got everything equipped. And we've got 2 movement left. Well, we could throw a javelin. Oh, we can't hurt the thing. Doesn't matter. We'll just move 2 up to that spot. All right, we're done with our turn. Rolling for spawning phase, we get a 1. That goes down a spot. The horror, 7. That goes up, triggers a creeping death. They've invaded our territory. Trespassers, thieves, defilers that don't belong. These foul parasites, these humans, they've killed several of our kind, but they don't know that we're getting closer. They can't see us in the dark. They can't hear us lurking in the shadows. And before they know it, we'll be upon them. For 2 times, when any monster is destroyed, monsters move up to 2 spaces. And he can be damaged now. And he's going to attack, so he's going to move 1 space and make his attack against us. Rolling a 4, which is enough for us to take a damage. Then back to our turn. We are going to move 2. Then attack with our javelin for 2 more. There are 3 white dice. We got 1, 2, 3, and 4. All right, if we spin an essence, we can get it up to the 5 we need, which is going to damage it and kill it. And with killing it, we get our essence back. Then if there were any monsters left, they would move up to 2 spaces. I think that's still going to trigger though, so we can put a marker on that in case it sticks around. Then we have 2 movement left, so we might as well get to this side, so hopefully something can't move in and attack us. All right. Spawning monsters. We got a 5, which is equal to that, so that goes back up to 7. And we get a deep one. Armor of 3, will of 3, 1 health, 5 stamina. It's got a ranged attack of 2 or 3 black dice. That's not good. When this monster hits, we're going to roll the D10 on an 8 or higher, increase the monster threat by 1. When he comes into play, increase the monster threat by 1. So that thing must be scary. All right, closest spot, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it probably makes better sense for him to pop in there. Then horror phase. We got a 2, so that's going to drop down. And he's going to activate. He's got a range of 2. So 1, 2, 3. And then, let me see. 1, 2, 3 is how he'll want to be. And he can make his attack on us from there. This can't go well. So it's a 3. Our defense is a 3. Unfortunately, we've got nothing to reduce that. Oh, it is a ranged attack. When you block ranged attacks, reduce the attack roll by 2. So that's going to be a 1. He missed. All right, so back to our turn. We're going to gain 6. We're next to a chapter space. So we're going to activate that. So we need to spend 3 stamina and 3 of our essence. So 1, 2, 3. And finish that off. If the current chapter is not blocking, and if an exit token is not placed on any map tile, flip the current chapter, resolve its interplay abilities. Put a destroy token on top of the chapter space. All right, so we're moving on. And that is what we see as we move on. And what we saw was a trail of blood. All right, so our spawn for the monsters is going to go down to 6. Horror is up to 4. This symbol means we can't use a chapter space to advance it. We can take a damage to move up to 3 spaces. To go to the next chapter, we need to take 4 damage. Just note, instead of taking damage, we can lose an essence. And when this comes into play, explorers may move up to 2 spaces. We will take advantage of that. So we found a trail of blood. Although the curious ornamentation on the pillars attested to the great mastery of their creator, should you focus on the fluid curves at length, their sinister and alien contours would force themselves to repeat endlessly in your mind. Tearing my eyes from the sight, I noticed various trinkets scattered on the floor that resembled standard exploration equipment. Is it possible we are not the first from our era to set foot here? My suspicions grew stronger as our advance revealed yet further signs of cult involvement. Suddenly, I lost my balance and had to brace myself against the wall for support, ignoring the cold, organic feel of the stone. I gazed at my feet, my heart skipped a beat, and when I realized I stood in a thick puddle of blood, there was no body or signs of a struggle, just this dark, congealed ooze trailing forward out of sight. We dared not look at each other, lest we see the fear on our companions' faces as we followed the trail into the darkness. Just re-looking at this. So when this monster is adjacent to a wall, it's ethereal. I think I killed it here. And to be adjacent to a wall or a door, you have to be orthogonally adjacent to it. So I think that was still a good kill. All right, that thing's got 1 health. Just need a 3 to defeat it. So we're going to spend 2 to use our heavy javelin. And that's going to be a 5/6, so that's going to deal a damage to it. And defeated, we gain an essence. And we've got 1 more movement left. So we could take the 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, that's not safe. We need to get more essence, and that looks, well, both of these, this looks like a better spot. We're just going to move 1 direction that way. So spawning 5 or less would be nice, and 8 not so much. So that's going to bring out whatever that thing's called. Armor of 2, will of 2, health of 2, 5 for stamina. It's got a melee attack with a black and a white die. When this monster is hit, it moves 2 spaces towards its nearest spawn space, and when it enters play, it moves up to 2 spaces. So it's basing us right off the bat. Pops in there. Moves in to say hello. Horror phase, 3 or less would be nice. Get a 6. Move that up. So we become more familiar with our surroundings. We begin looking ahead with a glimmer of hope and confidence. The fate trickster. Then, like a veil of forgetfulness, the dark tricked our minds, and we forget our plan once again. Shuffle item decks. So that comes into play if we were putting stuff on top in the hopes of drawing it again. So we're just messing with destiny right now. So our apparel. Of course, that's not going to matter anymore. And this. All right, so he's going to attack us with a black and a white die. Yeah, 5 hits. We'll take a damage. And then a 2 is going to miss. So back to our turn. I mean, he's kind of weak. I see no reason why we wouldn't attack him. So we reset to 6 using our javelin. It's going to be 3, 4 damage, so that hits him once. Unfortunately, this monster is hit. It moves 2 spaces towards the nearest spawn space. So 1, 2. Guess we could move a space to hit him again. 1, 2. Or we just run up here. 1, 2, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4. And end her turn. So monster phase, hoping for a 5 or less. We get a 9. A Eudithian, armor of 2, will of 4, just 1 health, 5 for his stamina. He's got a ranged attack, arcane of 3. This monster is destroyed, attacker gains an item. That's nice. This monster is the only monster. It is ethereal, so we need to defeat him first. Then roll for horror. Got a 3, which is going to drop that down by 1. Then these guys are going to activate. So he's got 5, no ranged attacks. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. On the Eudithian, would have come out there. So 1, 2. Gets him line of sight. And he's got a straight diagonal to hit us with. So he's got an arcane attack with 3 dice. And that definitely hits us for 1 damage. If we keep getting beat up, we'll never be able to spin forward to get out of here. All right, back to our turn. We are going to spin 1 for movement. Attack the Yithian. It's got 1 health. We just need to get to 2. Using our javelin. We got 2, 3, so he's defeated. When this monster is defeated, attacker gains an item. So to gain an item, it's pretty much like using a chest. We're going to draw 2 and keep 1. I think we're going to go for armor, though. So we've got a ritual cloak. Your attacks are arcane, or some burst mail. When you're hit, push adjacent units 1 space. That's what I'm going to keep, and we don't auto-equip it, so it's going to come into our inventory. And we'll discard that. So we used 2 to attack with. Then we're going to use 2 to attack again. Well, we killed a monster, so we got an essence. Hopefully we can kill another monster here with our heavy javelin. Yep, 4, 5. Dead. Gain an essence. Then we're going to move. Go into our spawn phase. Rolling a 5, so that's going to lower that by 1. Nice. Then horror. It's a 10. If you're playing in easy mode, that counts as a 0, but we're not, even though it's kind of the quick phase. So this is going to go back up to 4. Raise that up, and our next horror is blood in the air. It's getting thick. The eldritch writing drew us to the fountain. Its uneasy calligraphy demanded our inspection. Upon our approach, however, the foul smelling of liquids, the dark red of diseased blood, erupted forth, clinging to our exposed skin. The space perfume corrupted us, making our injuries immune to any ministrations. Explorers can't restore health. That's not cool. And no monsters to attack. That's cool. So what we are going to do, we are going to spend 3 to look inside this chest. And that's going to get us an essence. And then we're going to look for 2 apparel items. All right, so a checkerboard cravat. We can discard it to restore health, which we can't do with that out. You gain an apparel, restore stamina. And we've got some hobnailed boots. On any horror event, move up to 1 space, and it gives us an additional armor. So we're going to discard that, keeping this. Then we're going to spend 3 to equip. And what we're going to do is bring these 2 items in. So they're in effect. and attach those together. So our armor is now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and our will is 1, 2, 3, and 4. It's going to end our turn, so we go, you know what? Yeah, we will keep this for now. See how hard we get beat up. Because we can spend this 4 right there to go to the next chapter. But we're going to wait till the start of our next turn to do that. So, spawning, we got a 9. This is going to reset to 6. Monster coming out is a my go. Armor of 3, will of 4, health of 2, and 5 stamina. It's got a melee attack. When this monster is destroyed, attacker invokes an explorer event. And 1, 2, 3, 4, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So he's popping in there. All right, so rolling for a horror event. 1. So that goes down. Then he's going to activate 5 stamina. So he's got to get next to us to attack us. So 1, 2, 3. He's got 2 left, which is enough for an arcane attack. Like I said, he prefers to be orthogonal, but he'll go diagonally if it means he can attack us. So 3 white dice. Our will is 1, 2, 3, 4. And he got a 3, so we're good. So on to our next turn. Reset to 6. I'm always torn in games like this. Usually in dungeon crawlers, I don't like keeping monsters around, so I want to attack them, but I feel like to progress the story, I need to let them linger a little bit. So what we're going to do, but we do go down to 2 health if we do that. That's not the best. Let's see if we can kill the Migo then. Spending 2 for our javelin. We need a 3. We got 1, 2, plus 1 for the melee attack, thank goodness. So we're dealing a damage to him. Spend 2 more to attack him. We got 4, 5, so that's going to defeat. Ooh, except we can't go to 5. That's a bummer. Oh well. He's defeated either way. And we're just going to go ahead and do it. So spending 1, 2, 3, 4 to advance to the next chapter. All right, so here we go to 5 and 6. Destroy bound event while adjacent to a pit. Cost of 1 to restore 3 essence. There's no pits in here, though. For this, place an exit token. So we can put that on any way out of here. And since we're right next to that, that's what we want to do. Because once we get an exit token or an exit token to leave, we just need to get on that and step out. So I think we just need to survive this one more round here. So a missing piece, corridors were dank and threatening, and we tried to ignore the growing unease as we wound our way past the softly throbbing walls. Halfway through such a passage, we stumbled upon a piece of parchment, and I guessed that this was a missing page from the journal. We squinted in the gloom to make sense of the illustration. Blue meteor plummeting from the heavens towards a glittering white mountain. Felt my gorge rise as I absorbed the extent of what I was seeing. Were the small tentacles protruding from the blazing sphere just an artist's fanciful depiction? Was it? Could it be possible that it was alive? The page also spoke of a secret place far below that gave us detailed instructions of how to reach it from an entrance. For now, it would have to wait as time was running short, and we should return the base before nightfall. So here's what we saw. And we're going to use a movement to stand on the exit and end our turn. Go to monster spawning. We got a 1, which means nothing spawns. In the horror event, we got a 10, so something's happening there. This moves up. On a horror event, we can move up to 1 space. So we'll move to the other side. No, we're just going to stay right where we're at. Our horror event is barred. Let me out, let me out. The walls are closing in. It's all caving in around me. Don't you see? Don't you see what you're doing? It's exactly what they want. They're in here with us. They're all around us. You bastard, why would you shut us in like this? Why would you close us in the dark? We're trapped in here forever, and we're never getting out. When an explorer closes the door, invoke a horror event. Fortunately, that's not going to do anything for us, because we're not closing doors. All we're going to do is spin 2 to exit the map tile. And for this scenario, that is going to pull out the win. So with the short game, just surviving and leaving the 4th chapter is a win for this. So that gives you a good idea of how the game is played, how things are going to come out and things progress. Like I said, we definitely needed some armor built up. We weren't looking too healthy there. But as the threat level goes up, monsters are going to come out. And of course, they're going to get worse as they keep going. That is one cool thing about the game. We're not fighting the same thing over and over again. All the monsters are unique in this, and you're going to see a lot of different things. So as always, hope you enjoyed this playthrough. So please click on the like button below and be sure to subscribe. Thanks for watching.